Good afternoon, everyone. We'll get started in just a minute as we allow for more attendees to join the call. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. I'm Andrew Sorensen, spokesperson here at CU Boulder. I'll be moderating today's call. Some quick housekeeping items before we get started. Today's webinar is focused on students and families. Next week on Tuesday, April 20th, the campus Q&A this session will focus on faculty and staff. If you have a question for the experts on today's webinar, please use the Q&A function that you can find on the bottom of your screen to submit a question. You can start doing that now. Because today's session is focused on students and families, please note we're prioritizing questions from students and families. We will do our best to get to all questions. If we do not get to your question, you can reach us at colorado.edu/COVID-19. If by chance we run out of questions prior to the scheduled ending of the webinar, we will end early. And as a reminder, today's call will be recorded and the recording will be available on our COVID-19 website. On today's call, we have comments from Catherine Eggert, Senior Vice Provost for Academic Planning and Assessment, Jennifer McDuffie, Associate Vice Chancellor for Health and Wellness. She also leads our campus Pandemic Response Office. Devin Kramer, Acting Dean of Students, and Commander Mark Hyatt of the CU Police Department. We're also joined by Laura Arroyo, Director of Housing Administration. I'll now turn it over to Catherine Eggert for some opening comments.
Thank you, Andrew, and thanks to all who are joining us on today's call. So as announced a few weeks ago, for the fall 2021 semester, we're going to be returning to a more traditional in-person experience, and the vast majority of our classes will be taught in person. Overall, our class offerings on campus for fall are expected to be 70% fully in person. We have another about 11% that are hybrid in person, and the remaining about 19% are either remote or online. Some of our larger lecture classes will continue remotely in the fall because we'll be maintaining 3 feet of distancing in the classroom, which impacts the capacity of our big lecture halls that have theater style seating. We're also maintaining some remote and online options for other class sizes because of student preference for some offerings in remote and online modalities. Due to the availability of vaccines, we'll return in the fall to normal practice for all those who need an accommodation of some kind. So faculty members who have a medical need or a family need for accommodation or for leave will return to the practice of using either FMLA leave or requesting ADA accommodation. Students who need an accommodation for the classroom for either medical reasons or other kinds of documented disabilities will be working with disability services to document that need. It's important to note that an accommodation for remote learning is made for students with documented disabilities only, including medical conditions. For students who, for whatever reason other than a documented disability, would prefer to take classes remotely or online, they can seek a remote section class. But if none is available, they'll need to attend that class in person. For staff for the fall, we anticipate limited public health restrictions in the fall including limited or maybe even no limitations on gatherings. And that will open up the opportunity to return to campus. We also recognize that the campus has successfully navigated working remotely during the pandemic, and we want to continue remote work where it makes sense. Human Resources is currently working with campus partners to provide guidance for the fall that will assist individual units and departments in their fall planning. That guidance will take into account the lessons we've learned from the pandemic about working remotely, as well as the greater work environment flexibility that will be provided as public health restrictions ease. We appreciate your patience as we continue to build the tools and the resources to support a more flexible work environment in the fall. Going back to classes, the fall schedule of classes is published and students have started to register by assignment. The instruction modes currently listed for each class are based on the latest information we have available. We'll continue to adjust room assignments and class times for the fall, and we appreciate your patience and flexibility during the registration process as tweaks occur. For those students who have questions about the mode of instruction for the classes that you're considering, please contact your academic advisors for assistance. And finally, for our students, faculty, and staff alike, health and safety have been our top priorities as we've planned the current academic year and as we look ahead. I want to emphasize that health includes mental health and well-being. I know that many of our students, our faculty, and our staff members have been impacted by violent events that have occurred or that continue to resonate on a national scale this semester. This includes not only the horrifying recent mass shooting in Boulder, but also instances and events that have had impact on a national scale. Many Black and Asian American and Pacific Islander members of the CU Boulder community have been, in particular, saddened and anguished by the instances of violence that have been visited upon Black people and upon Asian American and Pacific Islanders in the United States, and by the continuing reminders of this violence in the trial that's currently going on in Minneapolis. I want these members of the community to know that CU Boulder is with you and that we wish to support you in these difficult times. And now I'll turn things over to Jennifer McDuffie.
Thank you, Dr. Eggert. And I just want to point out that we continue to share resources around supporting yourself and others. And I want to make sure that everyone, if you're a student, you know about our counseling and psychiatric services that's available 24/7, no appointment needed. Our Office of Victim Assistance, it's available 24/7, as well as our faculty staff assistance program. Those are clinical services, and they're not just available now, but maybe in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I think it's also important to not only share our resources, but to share some actions. We've got to take time to process, have conversations with friends, reach out to family members, and to reach out to our colleagues in a safe and healthy way. Maybe it's taking a walk, going outside and grounding yourself in the earth, enjoying some of the sunny weather, maybe not today, but hopefully by the weekend. We are a community that supports one another, and we can only do that if we care for ourselves as well. So please take time. We know that there's a lot of changes happening, especially related to public health. So I'd like to share a few things. As of last Friday, April 2nd, Colorado moved, I guess that's 2 Fridays ago, Colorado moved to phase 2 of the state's vaccine distribution plan. Anyone over 16 is now eligible to receive the vaccine. We're very excited at CU to continue to provide vaccine appointments. In fact, we have 5 clinics this week alone. We have prioritized staff, faculty, and students that were front-facing and that were part of 1B1 through 1B4. At this time, we are offering appointments for this week and early next week. Very soon, we will be opening all appointments to phase 2 of our campus community. In order to receive notification about vaccines, please enter your information on the vaccine eligibility form. Let us know of your interest, and we will be in touch as soon as there's a supply. We always encourage you, if you can get your vaccine through another healthcare provider, please feel free to do so. However, we recognize that there are many things, including time, in which we're trying to schedule. As we get closer to the end of the semester, we are letting anyone who signs up for a vaccine appointment know when their second dose will be. Currently, if you're getting a first dose right now, your second dose may be during finals or during the end of the semester. And so we're working with students right now to make sure that they're able to attend their second dose. Please know that's 3 weeks or 21 days for Pfizer and 28 days for Moderna. Students who are returning home or to their home communities need to consider that before signing up. And remember, if you aren't able to get that second dose, please reach out to us. We want to support you and we want to make sure you're resourced. In terms of the families, we also want to make sure that you recognize that we're still having testing available to our CU affiliates here at CU, but also household and family members. Please come and get tested at one of our testing sites. And for our students who are departing campus, please get tested within 48 to 72 hours before leaving to ensure that you're traveling as safe as you can be. And finally, I want to share some changes to our public health guidance. As you may have seen, as a state, we are changing the Colorado dial, and Boulder County has remained in level yellow. As counties begin to take over the dial on Friday from the state, it is possible that we will move to level blue. In level blue, this means that we still have COVID in our community. We still have hospitalizations, and there is significant spread in Colorado. We want to make sure that we are gathering safely, and we want to make sure that all the mitigation strategies we continue to follow. Those include masking, which is required indoors. We also want to make sure we maintain small groups and physical distancing. We know that enjoying the weather and spending time outside is where we all hope to be, and we encourage anyone to do that. But make sure that you're staying at home and monitoring your symptoms if you do not feel well. We are excited about more opportunities for gathering and being able to connect as a community. But for now, we're asking that everyone finish the semester strong. Continue to follow the recommendations, and hopefully we'll have an amazing end to a spring semester very soon. At this time, I'd like to transition to our Acting Dean of Students, Devin Kramer.
Thank you, Jennifer. I want to start by thanking the majority of our students who've been great community members throughout this pandemic. They've been wearing their masks, following public health orders. We're very thankful for them for doing the right thing. We also want all of our students to act as good neighbors, good community members. In a recent visit to the Hill, Chancellor DeStefano shared with me that he was very disappointed to see some students negatively impacting neighbors through gatherings or trashing their surroundings, and we really need this to stop. 2 weekends ago, campus began to increase efforts to address community concerns in the Hill neighborhood in coordination with the City of Boulder. Campus administration and CU police are increasing our presence on the Hill through the remainder of this semester. The goal is to help limit noise, limit large and unsafe gatherings, and to limit trash and other code enforcement issues. So far, we've identified over 70 residences that we plan to address. About 50 of those houses clearly show a lack of general upkeep, including a lot of trash in their front yards. We're sending representatives to each of those houses to make them aware of the potential consequences from the city of Boulder, which could include fines or evictions, and encourage them to clean their space up and take pride in the house that they're living in. We're also engaging with landlords of those properties to make them aware of the potential consequences they could face. We've identified over 20 residences that continue to hold large nuisance gatherings, which may violate city laws. The Dean of Students Office is meeting with those residents to make them aware of the potential consequences should that behavior continue, and to talk through the harm that they're causing to the community. There are only a few weeks left in the semester. The weather's getting warmer. We understand people want to celebrate, but it's critical that you celebrate safely and responsibly and with respect for others in our community, including our neighbors and law enforcement. A few reminders on city ordinances to make sure students aren't getting in trouble. Fireworks, they're illegal in Boulder. This can include sparklers, snaps, up to Roman candles and mortars. The city can and will fine people up to $750 for using fireworks. You can also be held responsible for roommates and guests using fireworks. And it's one of the main complaints that we're getting from neighbors. It's disruptive and can wake people up in the middle of the night. There are many noise-related ordinances in the city of Boulder that, if violated, can result in expensive tickets and referrals to a disciplinary process. Keep your neighbors in mind if you do plan to have guests over or play music outside, and closely monitor your noise levels, particularly after 11 p.m., to avoid an unreasonable noise ticket. For our family members on the call today, please remind your students to follow ordinances and finish strong. We have just 3 weeks left until finals. And now I'll turn it over to Commander Mark Hyatt from the CU Boulder Police Department.
Thank you, Devin. As Devin mentioned, we're always eager to partner with the Boulder Police Department in areas of community policing to engage with our students and the Hill residents on combined issues of neighborhood safety. The effort is going well so far, as Devin said, to engage with this, our police officers are engaging with students and have had many positive interactions while on foot patrols on and off campus. Some students have appeared receptive and eager to have conversations about helping reduce negative impacts in the area. We're continuing these efforts along with an increased presence on campus through the close of the semester and to promote safety and community-minded conduct. We continue to assist Boulder Police Department with their investigations of both the Hill riot and the King Super shootings, two very difficult events, both with serious impacts on our combined communities. CUPD has begun wrapping up our day-to-day detective support directly to assist Boulder PD, and we will continue to help them as needed. And we will hope for a very smooth and hopefully positive end to the semester. So thank you for all of your support in doing that and helping remind your students to do that. And now I'll turn things back over to Andrew.
Thanks, Commander Hyatt, and thank you to all of our panelists today. At this time, we'll turn over to our audience and invite you to ask questions to any of our panelists. Again, if you have a question, please use that Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. And we have a few to start with. A question here for Laura Arroyo. Can students housed off campus in the fall purchase a meal plan?
That's a great question. We know that for our on-campus and our off-campus students, dining is a really important way that students feel very connected and find connection with each other on campus. This year, due to some of the COVID-19 restrictions, we really focused on our first-year student population living in the residence halls for our dining options. Moving forward, for dining, we're going to continue to offer opportunities that are both in person as well as grab and go. And we're focusing, of course, on our first-year student population as usual, but we do expect that we'll be able to offer some block meal plans for off-campus students as well. And the number of those will be dependent, of course, on our decisions as we move forward and the restrictions that we need to continue to do for fall for COVID-19, but we do expect to make some critical changes that will be supportive of our off-campus population.
All right, thank you. A question here for Catherine Eggert. Families on parent Facebook pages have been saying their students have no or almost no in-person classes for fall 2021. They're asking what can be done about this?
Yeah, thanks for that question. As I mentioned, we are offering only less than 20% of our total classes remote or online for the fall. And then the remaining, 81% are either completely in person or hybrid in person. So if a student is looking to register for classes and finds that they are seeing online options that they don't want, that they should consult with their academic advisor, because we have most of our classes are in fact in person or hybrid in person for the fall. So consult with the academic advisor. And of course, the department chairs are also there, eager to help students with their class instruction mode choices.
Thank you. Question here for Catherine or Student Affairs. Will there be a live stream or option to get a video recording of students crossing the stage during grad appreciation days?
So I'll take that for those on the call who need this information. So we're offering a cross the stage event for our graduating students, our soon to be forever buffs. And those are by reservation on Thursday and Friday, April 22nd and 23rd. And then the next Monday and Tuesday, April 26th and April 27th. So students can register for a time slot, and they can either wear regalia, not wear regalia, but there will be an opportunity then to have to cross the stage, to have their diploma cover presented, to have photographs taken by professionals, and we'll have some gifts for them from colleges and schools and from the university. So students register for that, and more information is available on the grad appreciation webpage. I am not aware of plans at this moment for live stream or video, but I emphasize that planning is ongoing. So I would urge anybody with questions about that to keep checking that page, and we'll try to get some more information for the next webinar. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Question here for Jennifer McDuffie, or again, Catherine Eggert. What would need to happen for courses to be 100% in person? Will you update those courses that are still remote to be in person as more people get vaccinated?
First of all, I think it's important for everybody on this call to know that before the pandemic, we did not offer 100% of our courses in person. We offer online and remote classes because of student demand for those classes. So in the fall, we are continuing to offer remote and online sections, partly, as I said, because of public health guidance and the need to keep a 3-foot distancing, especially in those large lecture rooms, but also partly because of student demand continuing. We've had queries from students who really want to take all their classes online for the upcoming academic year. The other important thing then is students are registering. They are registering now, and they will continue to register into the summer. And they're registering for a particular instruction mode. So it would disadvantage students if we changed that instruction mode for, at kind of without notice in the summer. So we're going to be sticking with the instruction modes we have. And we are confident, again, because over 80% of our classes rather are fully in person or hybrid in person. We are confident that our students will be able to find the instruction modes they're looking for.
All right, thank you. Question here for Jennifer McDuffie. Is the campus transitioning to 3-foot distancing, apologies, only in classrooms or for all campus spaces and all non-academic activities as well? And this person is wondering, when will that transition occur?
Very good question. I believe the CDC has recommended 3-foot distancing in classroom spaces, especially for K through 12. And we continue to work with our facilities partners as well as our scientists, to really look at what's the best distancing depending on the activity. So for the spring semester, we will not see any changes to the current configurations, but we do anticipate some changes in the summer and fall in our classroom spaces, as well as in our non-academic spaces, to allow for more capacity and density.
Thank you. Another question for Catherine Eggert. This person says, I'm the parent of a freshman ENVD student. The entire year has been remote learning from my student's dorm room. There is some confusion for fall 2021, but it appears classes will remain remote for sophomore ENVD classes. How is the university supporting ENVD and working on actionable solutions to return to in-person instruction?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I will say that the administration has been working closely with ENVD on its class offerings, and like all the other departments and programs on campus, they are offering really a vast majority of their classes either in person or hybrid in person. So I'm not aware of the sophomore classes in particular. I would again suggest that your student speak to their academic advisor. You can also email me with specifically with more information about those classes, and I'll put you in touch with the ENVD folks who can help you.
Thank you. Another question for Jennifer McDuffie. Will CU be mandating vaccines in the fall for teaching/enrollment?
Very good question, and it's something that we continue to follow. I believe more and more schools are announcing plans, whether it's to require or strongly encourage. And what I can tell you is we continue to look at the authorization that each of the vaccines are under, and right now all are under that emergency use authorization. We also look at other variables, supply chain, as well as equity, what barriers exist to someone getting the vaccine. We want to make sure that we look at that really carefully so that we don't preclude anyone from an opportunity such as education. So as we look at this, our current space today is not to require vaccines. With that being said, I would share that at any point, we are encouraging anyone who is offered a vaccine to take an opportunity to get a vaccine. And when in doubt, consult with a healthcare provider about your own individual answer to that question.
Thank you. Question here for Devin or Laura. Students have told us they need socialization opportunities in order to stay engaged in classes. Do you anticipate a full slate of student social/sports activities to be hosted on campus?
Thank you. That's such a good question. We're hearing from our students now, and we're hearing for them for the fall that they really are looking to return to as many in-person opportunities as possible. And we want to make sure that we can provide them whenever possible as well. Of course, we're trying to make sure that we continue to follow the county and state regulations, continue to follow the DIAL framework, and make sure that we can offer opportunities safely. And these include organizational events, clubs, organizations, as well as athletic events. We're trying to make sure that we follow guidance as promptly and quickly as we can, do that safely, and open up opportunities.
Sure, thank you. Devin, anything to add there?
Perfect. Thanks, Laura.
Question for Catherine Eggert. Why are some classes, this person says, for leads in the fall only offered remotely? Why is there no in-person option for fall for a required class?
Yeah, thank you. So the courses, as I mentioned, are affected to some extent by the continued 3-foot distancing that we'll be doing in our classrooms. For smaller classrooms, that pretty much means we're back to normal. But our large lecture halls have big capacities, and those have theater style seating. So we won't be able to use every seat in those classrooms. That's restricted our ability to offer large lecture classes in person, and those will unfortunately need to be remote in the fall. I'd add that our faculty have really eagerly learned to offer remote instruction in the best possible manner for the fall, so or for this year on the fall. So we're happy with the way that the faculty have been working hard on their teaching. For leads in particular, I'm not sure which courses are involved, but again, I would urge the student to consult with their academic advisor about options. If the option is only for a remote class for that particular class, and you'd like to know more about the choices that Leeds was making in scheduling its classes, you can talk to the dean's office in Leeds, and they'll help you understand what was going on.
Thank you. Question here for CUPD Commander Mark Hyatt. Are there enough CUPD, I assume they mean officers, to do both campus patrols and assist BPD with their patrols? Can you describe what a patrol or an increased presence actually involves?
Yeah, so we are always balancing what priority calls look like and where our assets and resources need to be. So our officers have been able to provide hours worth of time just in the last weekends on the Hill and in neighboring student areas. Patrols can involve getting out on foot. It can involve being in the vehicle, depending on what the other situations that they're trying to address throughout the city. They like to, and we like them to get out and actually have conversations where it's possible. So it's not unheard of if you see our officers to be out there, they may want to come up and actually talk with you, not because anybody's in trouble, but it may just be having community dialogue, being able to be transparent and engage with our students and our Hill residents. So please look for us up there. You can see our cars, they're white. They say CU Boulder on the side, and we're happy to have conversations as much as anything. It's not just enforcement, Andrew.
Fantastic, thank you. Question for Jennifer McDuffie. If a student has had both doses of their vaccines, are they still required to get tested on a weekly basis?
Yes. So currently, anyone, faculty, staff, or students who have had both doses of the vaccine are required to get tested weekly through the spring semester.
Thank you. Question for Student Affairs, and Catherine Eggert, you may have something to say on this as well. Can the current freshman class be part of the orientation of the new incoming class, or even better, dedicated efforts to reorient to CU? This person says, so important to be part of school and spirit.
I can take that one. So we've heard this request from a few folks actually. And right now we're in the process of developing our fall welcome plans. And we don't have any formal announcements to make today. But what I can share is that many of the fall welcome events are open to all of our students, and we will make sure to communicate that out to all of our students as fall welcome unfolds. And we're considering additional opportunities for returning students as well. I want to emphasize some of those opportunities, in particular the Be Involved Fair will happen, and that's a really great way to engage with various student clubs and kind of find your niche on campus.
Great. Catherine, anything to add to that?
No, I just want to say we are so eager to welcome our students back to campus, and we would love it if all returning students, and especially those second-year students, take part in those orientation events that are open to them.
Fantastic, thank you. A question for Jennifer McDuffie here. What impact will the pause on Johnson & Johnson vaccines have on campus vaccination programs?
That's a very good point. That announcement came after a few different conversations and instances where female identified folks within that younger age frame had some blood clots. It was very rare, but something that they take and review very seriously. And so as a state, we were receiving large amounts of Johnson & Johnson. I believe a couple of weeks ago, we received about 90,000 in Colorado. Unfortunately, the following week, we received about 9,000 as there had some supply chain hiccups. And then as our campus, we have not received any after that initial allotment at the very beginning. Predominantly, we are seeing Moderna and Pfizer on campus. And one of those reasons is that we're able to store Pfizer effectively, and many people don't have the ultra low temperatures. I think the other piece that I would also point out about the supply chain is we are seeing an increase here in Colorado. And so I think we're seeing a lot more appointments and opportunities for vaccines right now. So we do encourage you, if you're still looking, to sign up on the interest form, but to also look at those 6 max vaccine clinics in Colorado.
Great, thank you. Another question for Catherine Eggert. What's the difference between continuing ed and main campus in terms of online teaching?
That's a really wonderful question. Our partners in continuing education, as a part of campus, offer classes that are for the non-traditional students or for folks who are not enrolled students but want educational opportunities. They have been leaders in developing online and remote education, and I don't have precise percentages in my head, but I know that a large share of their classes are remote or online. They also offer evening classes. So again, for main campus for the coming year, less than 20% of our classes are remote or online, and that is far, far different than continuing education, which serves a different population.
Okay, thank you. Another question for Jennifer McDuffie. If a student receives the first dose of a vaccine on campus before the end of the semester, will they be able to receive the second dose on campus over the summer?
Yes, we will be vaccinating April, May, June, July, and August. So as long as there's supply and we have students, faculty, and staff who are interested, we will continue to vaccinate regardless of when the semester ends.
All right, thank you. Back to Catherine Eggert. What percentage of courses were remote prior to the pandemic? This person says, I enrolled my student, assuming it was a residential school. As a follow-up, what is the criteria for which you've chosen to change a course to fully remote from how it was pre-pandemic? I heard student demand. What does that mean specifically?
So pre-pandemic, we offered a robust selection of online and remote classes. They were concentrated in primarily in a few departments. So what's changed with the pandemic is, of course, that our entire campus learned very quickly how to offer classes remote or online. Our standards for what classes needed to be remote or online for the fall, as I've mentioned, was really dependent on class size. So again, for our largest lecture classes, we simply literally cannot accommodate them in our lecture halls, given our 3-foot distancing standard and given the kind of theater style seating in those halls. So we did move a lot of those big lectures and all of the biggest lectures to remote and online status. For other classes, the departments that are offering multiple sections of a single class were encouraged to keep one or maybe a couple of them in remote status for students who prefer that option. And again, we've gotten a lot of feedback from students that they appreciate the convenience of a remote class, even if they are taking other classes in person. So it's been a tricky business. We are still working on finding rooms for all our classes, and we'll be working on that through the summer.
All right, thank you. Question, Jennifer McDuffie, Laura Arroyo, or other folks on the student affairs side of the house. What are the current plans for Parents Weekend this fall? Will it be virtual? Will there be in-person activities?
It's a great question. First, we're focusing on fall welcome, and we're still determining those plans as public and health guidance continues to change. But we're really hoping to have as many in-person opportunities as possible, and that will continue, I expect, into Parent Weekend as well. But really, first, our focus is on Welcome Week.
All right, thank you. Back to Catherine Eggert. Is there a way to encourage or require a professor to show up for an online course? This person says our daughter has a remote class and has never seen the actual professor, only the teaching assistant.
Oh, well, that's an interesting question. I would need to know what class is involved to be able to answer that fully. Of course, we have classes that are taught by professors that have recitation sections led by the TA. So for the recitation sections, the TA is the classroom leader, and the professor typically doesn't show up and interfere in that teaching that the TA is doing. If there's a particular professor who is not teaching their part of the class at all, we'd like to hear about that, and I'm sure the department chair would like to hear about that. So feel free to drop me a line if that's the case. If it's a recitation section, the TA is the correct leader for that part of the class.
All right, thank you. And this will be our last and final question for the day for Jennifer McDuffie. According to the current CDC guidelines, vaccinated individuals who live and or work in a congregate setting still need to quarantine if they're exposed to an individual with COVID. Does CU plan to continue with isolation spaces during the next academic year?
I'm happy to take this one. We are planning to continue to hold self-isolation space in our residence halls. We do expect that COVID-19 will continue to be present in the fall, and we're making sure that we hold appropriate space to support those students if they do test positive.
Thank you. Again, we'd like to advise everyone of our approach to these weekly webinars this semester. We're alternating between faculty and staff campus Q&As and these students and family-focused campus Q&As. Next week on Tuesday, April 20th, the campus Q&A will focus on faculty and staff. The next student and family campus Q&A will be that following week, April 27th. That will also be our last scheduled campus Q&A of this series. Moving forward, we'll have one-off campus Q&As or town halls if needed. If you have more questions or you'd like to see additional information about COVID-19 and the campus response to it, you can do so by visiting our COVID-19 website. Again, that's colorado.edu/COVID-19. There you'll find in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a chat function where you can ask questions. Thank you all for joining us today. We'll now end the call.